WWE World, is it still worth your time and money in 2025 and beyond? This is what we're going to talk about today. Let's get on with the video.
Rico, the stylist, and I'm here with Ollie Harper. Hey, you need to see his channel on youtube.com. He's WWE, and you're watching the Ollie Harper Show on YouTube.
Alexander, and you're watching Ollie Harper on TNSAttitude.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? It's me, Ollie, aka TNSAttitude, and I am back again here on youtube.com for all things professional wrestling. Now, of course, if you are brand new here on the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button where you will be notified when I am posting brand new professional wrestling content here on the channel. I like to share my vlog experiences from meet and greets I have attended when I've been on these different trips. I've just recently come back from WrestleMania 41, so if you do want to see my experience at WrestleMania 41 through the week, I've got the full 21 episode vlog here on the channel. I've also been to past WrestleManias from 38, 39, 40, and if you want to go really back when I was a lot younger, you can even look at my 29 and 30 experiences as well. But today, folks, I wanted to make this video because I am all about being honest. I like to break it down for you because if I've experienced it, I like to try and give you my thoughts and where it holds up in the current market for fan interaction. And I'm talking about, of course, WWE World. I want to talk about WWE World and I want to give you my honest opinion. Is it worth it going forward? If you're planning on going to WrestleMania next year, or if you're planning on budgeting, if you are planning on making that trip out to New Orleans, Louisiana, is WWE World worth your time, money, and trip time? As I say, because it all adds into trip time. You only have a certain amount of time in these places and you really want to balance it out. But I'll be really honest with you. So let's talk WWE World this year. Now, if I'm going to be honest with you, compared to, of course, WWE World of last year, because, WWE World, it really hasn't been around that long. It's a Fanatics Experience event that, of course, was collaborated with WWE. Once Fanatics were able to get the rights to memorabilia, merchandise, meet and greets, once WWE pretty much sold that off to them, they decided that this was the route they were going to go down. Of course, it started in Philadelphia last year at WrestleMania 40 and would come back this year in Las Vegas. Now, of course, WWE World at WrestleMania 40, I felt was pretty good. For the experience I had at the time, it was pretty good. And the reason I say that was because there was a lot included. The panels were good. We got to see The Rock, even though he was 2 hours late. At the time, there was a good superstar row that was included with the general admission, and there was a lot of good talent on that superstar row. So you kind of felt at the time that, okay, you're getting quite a bit of bang for your buck. And I did really feel that that was really cool. At that year, of course, when I went to WWE World, WrestleMania 40, I met Cody Rhodes, I met LA Knight, Bianca Belair during that week, main event Jey Uso. And every one of those meet and greets came, of course, with the pro photo, as well as a digital copy, and, of course, a pre-signed 8x10, which would be given to me on my exit from the photo room. And I've talked about that last year in that WWE World video. At the time, I thought it was a fairly okay reset. I appreciated that it was never going to be like Access. It was never going to be anything like Access. It was going to be a completely different entity to what Access once was. But at the same time, I did still like the fact that they were still giving you quite a lot in terms of the talent that were available for the general entry. There was also a lot of autograph signings that were taking place during that week, where if you were lucky enough to get in queue, you could have gone and met the likes of AJ Styles, Gunther. Kairi Sane was doing some work in her shirt because Kairi's back, guys, and I'm happy. Kairi is back. She's back from her injury and all is well. But to talk WWE World in 2025, I really feel like they've really gone away from what 40 was. And a lot of people I spoke to during WWE World, fans I was talking to in the lines, when you got to kill time, when you're waiting to get into a queue and you're going through and you're killing time, you talk to fans. This is how it goes. And everybody said the same thing. It's not as good as last year. And I'll be honest with you, I got that vibe on the first day. I got my WWE World Pass, of course, a Friday through Sunday with On Location. And at the time when I bought that, I was pretty happy, because my memory of WWE World was, of course, going to be based on WrestleMania 40 and, of course, my decent experience at that one. So I thought, well, it's going to be like that. It's just another year. This is worth it. And then, of course, with everything I got in that pass, it all seemed to add up and make sense. So that when I did it, I'm going to do a separate video talking about On Location, just to get that out there as well, guys. I will talk about On Location on another video. But today, of course, just regards WWE World. I felt, the prices had gone up this year. That was one thing which, of course, was pretty noticeable. Monday General was around that £53 is what I paid. It was about $65, $66. And the other days were more like $80, $80-ish dollars, and then around the 70 British, just around that. So they had put the prices up from a year gone by. There was no VIP entry, other than, of course, with On Location. Yeah, if you've got an On Location pass, you could cut. That is absolutely the case. And that was pretty good. I felt, just for me, I went to WWE World on Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Monday. Okay? And if you didn't have pro photos booked with talent, if you didn't have any pro photo ops booked with talent, if you didn't have any autographs booked with talent, there wasn't really a lot to do. You could go and stand and watch the Pat McAfee show from afar if you wanted to go do that, but you'd have to get there super early. You could go to the Topps booth, which was pretty cool, because they were giving out these WrestleMania cards, and they were just handing them out. By the last day, they were just getting through them. It was rotating and just giving them out. And that was pretty cool. But the Superstar Row compared to 2024's Philadelphia week couldn't touch it. It was just bad. It was awful. I thought Superstar Row this year was a disorganized shit show, if I'm honest. And the reason why was because talent would turn up late, but then they would go on time, which I found ridiculous. This happened with Gigi and Tatum Paxley on the Monday morning. Carlito turned up late. Then there was I don't know if there would just been a breakdown of schedules or something. They'd have this awkward gap through some of them where a group of talent would finish at, say, 10 o'clock, and then they wouldn't have any more talent for about half an hour. So then that, again, was just an awkward gap. But in the case of the Tatum Paxley Gigi Dolan situation, they turned up late. They came in at 9:15. They were supposed to be there at 9 a.m. Now, I appreciate there's traffic. I get all that, but I more than likely would imagine they would have stayed at the Fountain Blue. I think a majority of the talent was staying there, so it wasn't far away. But they were being moved on at 10. They were supposed to be there an hour, but they were there 45 minutes, and the crowd was huge. And that was just a really frustrating mess. Some people were able to get good post photos. I ended up just getting selfies because I was just quick and shuffling and trying to run to the front, because Gigi, especially Gigi Dolan, she's one of my favorites. I'm so sad that she's been released from WWE, and I hope she does some great things on the indies to a point where they do have her back, And Tatum, of course, is going to be doing some new things now in NXT. It would seem. But yeah, I found as well with Superstar Row, the clashes were pretty bad. They would clash really bad with Epic, so you really weren't able to really commit to a queue without it something overlapping. So it meant you then weren't able to go and do your free photo ops, because you want something for your general entry. You just did. But the point was, everything would just clash. The clashes were terrible. And the clashes were happening all the time. I mean, even like a couple of minutes, and you're like, oh shit, I've now got to get over to Epic. So you'd have to run to the other side of the convention hall. Then you've got the autographs in one area of the convention hall, where I think it might have been better if they'd been more close. You know, so that was interestingly just odd. I found there just wasn't a lot to do for general admission. That's my opinion. You got the Superstore, which is very much what they are putting all their time, effort, and money into. They want you in that Superstore. It's right bang in front of WWE World. They want you in there. They want you spending your money. It's cashless. I've always said this. It will always be cashless because it's just this dangerous element of, if you are a newbie and you know your first time in that environment and you are like, hey, I'm here at WWE World, it's the like first ever WrestleMania, they're trying to cater to you as if you're in Disneyland and you're just wanting to buy all the merch, and it's just wild. It really is. They really do know how to catch you, if that makes sense. But like I say, I found all the time and effort really went into like the Superstore. The Epic photo ops were, again, quite a big thing as well. There just was not a lot, I felt. Yes, there was the NXT stuff going on. There was a couple of matches, but again, they were just as and when. There was the Triple H exhibit, which I did go check out on the Monday. That was very cool. I did enjoy that. There was, of course, the Hall of Fame attires, which were out. And, of course, the almost like a Madame Tussauds Triple H chilling at the end. Then there was the John Cena bit. It just didn't have as much as 40. And it really, in my mind, it felt like WWE now just want this almost like, and I'm no disrespect to Comic-Con, because I know I did say that originally in that video. But when I say Comic-Con, it's like, I've been to Comic-Con before, right? I've been to Wizard World, I've been to Denver Comic-Con, I've done those back in the day. But with those, you know, there wouldn't be a great amount of like, you could go meet the artists and they might do like free signing or something. But there wouldn't be a great amount of like just stuff to do general admission. It was always like, you got to have your you got to go have some pro ops booked. You got to have a premium autograph booked. And then again, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the prices on that stuff. You know, some of those pro ops were crazy money. You know, Stone Cold Steve Austin's bundle was a small fortune, but I went and did it because it's Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I was just wanting to do that because he's like one of my childhood heroes. But I'll be honest, looking at it now, I really should have just gone on that one day. I felt like, don't get me wrong, it was cool to meet Bayley, it was cool to meet Priest, it was cool to meet Jay Cargill. They were all awesome, but it just, for me, going back and looking at it all now, really Austin's like the big thing that stood out. And Priest as well. You know, I enjoyed meeting Priest. That was cool. And Jay, they were all, like I say, they were all great to meet. But everything's prices now. Everything is price walled now, more than ever. These prices are not going any down. TKO knows that. They are constantly pushing how much fans are willing to pay. And it's quite outrageous. I mean, people will continue to pay it. That's just how it goes. I don't think there's ever really going to become almost like a break where people do sit down and go, maybe shouldn't do that. You know, I'm not going to Mania next year because I can't do it. It's just got so capitalized. It's got so paywall. You know, if you're going to go to WWE World in this current market and you're going to go in there, you're paying your entry to go in that hall. But then that's not where it stops, because then if you want to go meet John Cena, that's probably what, $300 something. You know, a lot of those other ones were like $80, $90, $150. And these are just photo ops. They're not even the autographs. It's just become such a consumer, like the consumerism through it now, more than ever. There's no, like, it's just not fan, it doesn't feel fan friendly anymore. It's just so corporate, and it's become so like just paywall and premiumized than ever before. If you buy on location and they give you like you buy a super pass with on location, you know, you're going to get something more. And again, I can't wait to talk about that on my next video because I do feel like that needs talking about. I had a good experience with On Location. I will really break them down because I do think they are good for people that are thinking of doing a Mania in the future. So I will get onto that. But like with Monday, I found WWE World after the Gigi Tatum thing. I was just like, okay, I've got some exhibits to look at. That was cool. But generally, I was just like, oh, there's nothing to do. I'm not got any more. I've not got any pro ops books. I wasn't willing to be spending any more money on a couple of seconds photo op with a wrestler. You know, it was just like, what are we doing? There's nothing to do. And then of course I bumped into my good buddy Will and his friend Matt, and they was both good guys, and we all hung out and we did some of the top stuff, which was cool because it was just like they're giving you free stuff. And that's what it's about. It's about finding something that they're giving you because you've paid your entry, and there should be something in return for that. Not just you're going to walk in, you're going to take a couple of photos with some signs, and then you're going to go and be then redeeming all your other shit you've just paid money for. You know? I mean, you might come on this video and you might think, hey, I love WWE World. You know, I think it was the greatest thing ever. I thought it was great to be the opportunity to meet Stone Cold. That I am always going to be happy with. You know, WrestleMania 41 was the year I got to meet Steve Austin, and that is just an amazing thing. And that's through WWE World, you know. He's a rare signer, and he's not one that comes around all the time. He knows his value, you know. I think the last one he did was in like New Orleans, I want to say. No, he did one in Texas, but that was during 38 weekend. I couldn't get to it because of just timing and scheduling. But that was through his own Broken Skull stuff. So, you know. But let me know your thoughts. I'll be honest, I think WWE World for a first timer is something you might want to consider if you are willing to go there and you want to meet a few of the wrestlers and you are willing to spend your money and, you know, you have got a budget, but you are going there for Cody Rhodes. You want to meet CM Punk. You want to meet Liv Morgan or Raquel or, you know, Rey Mysterio or whoever. They're all there, but they've all got they've all got price tags on them. Everybody's got a price tag. And it's just, that it is what it is. It's just price tags galore. And that's what really ruins it, I think, is how much now it's just so premiumized now. And can they really hold that up for the next 5-6 years? Can they really hold that up? Or are they going to eventually realize that people aren't going to want to keep paying that, and then they are going to have to start to reduce it, and they might start coming back with a couple of free signings because, you know, the free signings were nice at 40, but they're no longer a thing, and especially Superstar Row just being almost very forgotten. They didn't give it much thought, I feel. It was the last couple of weeks before WWE World was to take place, and then they were like, oh, we're now doing Superstar Row, and here you go. But I mean, I was talking to Chris Brooker on the plane, and he even said, like, you got to be worried if you're a talent and you're going to be on that Superstar Row, because you're pretty much, if everyone else is paywall and you're a freebie, kind of says that the company thinks you've got no money in you. And I know he's pretty much right, you know. A lot of the talent that did the Row are no longer employed, sadly. Caden Carter, Katana Chance, for an example. Gigi Dolan. Very sad. But anyway, that is today's video. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and like. I'd love to hear your thoughts on WWE World. I'll catch you soon for another video.